The sky is falling. Survival under the rain of volcanic stone. The atmosphere above a major eruption is no longer composed of air and vapor. It has become a conveyor belt for solid destruction. As the internal pressure of the Earth reaches its breaking point, it does not just release gas and fine ash, it ejects the very crust of the planet. Thousands of tons of rock, some the size of gravel and others the size of small vehicles, are catapulted into the stratosphere. For a few moments, these objects defy gravity, reaching the apex of their forced journey. Then the inevitable descent begins. This is not the soft patter of rain or the brittle crack of ice hail. This is a bombardment of Lapilli and volcanic bombs. A relentless, kinetic assault from the heavens that turns the sky into a weapon and the ground into a kill zone. To understand the lethality of this event, one must first look at the Lapilli. Derived from the Latin word for little stones, Lapilli are fragments of lava or rock between 2 and 64 millimeters in diameter. While they may sound small, their danger lies in their quantity and velocity. Falling from heights of several kilometers, these jagged, porous stones achieve terminal velocity, striking the Earth with the force of lead bullets. In a heavy eruption, the concentration of Lapilli is so dense that it mimics a torrential downpour. It strips the leaves from trees in seconds, shatters windshields, and creates a deafening roar as it hammers against the rooftops of nearby towns. The weight accumulates rapidly. Unlike water that flows away, these stones pile up, adding tons of pressure to structures until the wood groans and the rafters snap, burying residents under the weight of their own homes. But the Lapilli are merely the scouts for the true giants of the storm, the volcanic bombs. These are massive clots of molten or semi-solid rock, often exceeding several meters in diameter, ejected with such force that they can travel miles from the vent. As they fly through the air, they spin and cool, taking on aerodynamic shapes, almonds, spindles, or bread crust textures. When they return to Earth, they do not merely fall, they impact. A single volcanic bomb can strike a house with the energy of a high explosive shell, punching through multiple floors and igniting anything flammable on contact. There is no defense against this aerial barrage. Underground bunkers may provide shelter from the heat, but the mechanical shock of a several-ton rock hitting the Earth at hundreds of miles per hour can cause localized tremors that collapse even the sturdiest foundations. The soundscape of this event is a nightmare of industrial proportions. The constant rhythmic thudding of stones hitting the ground creates a wall of noise that drowns out human screams. It's a dry, percussive chaos. In towns located within 20 miles of the eruption, the visual experience is one of total disorientation. The sun is blocked by the overarching ash plume, and the only light comes from the occasional red glow of a cooling volcanic bomb as it streaks through the darkness like a fallen star. People attempting to flee find that the ground has become a treacherous, shifting sea of rolling stones, making both walking and driving impossible. The air is thick with the smell of sulfur and the fine dust created by the impact of falling rocks shattering upon the pavement. As the bombardment continues, the landscape is physically reshaped. The lush green valleys of Montana or the forested slopes of Wyoming are transformed into gray, cratered moonscapes. The ecological toll is absolute. Wildlife has no instinctual defense against the sky that rains stones. Rivers are choked and dammed by the falling debris, leading to secondary flash floods of hot mud and ash. The infrastructure of civilization, roads, power lines, and communication towers is shredded by the sheer kinetic energy of the falling debris. What was once a thriving community becomes a collection of skeletons, with roofs caved in and streets buried under a meter of jagged volcanic glass. From a scientific perspective, the distribution of these falling rocks provides a map of the eruption's power. Geologists study the ballistic trajectory of the larger bombs to calculate the pressure at the vent, while the layers of Lapilli tell the story of the eruption's duration and intensity. But for those on the ground, the science is secondary to the primal terror of the event. It's a reminder that the atmosphere, usually our shield against the vacuum of space, can become a medium for our destruction when the Earth decides to exhale its internal weight. The aftermath of a volcanic stone rain is a silent, heavy world. When the eruption finally pauses and the last of the Lapilli has fallen, the environment remains hot and dangerous. The thick carpet of stones retains heat for days, and the jagged edges of the volcanic glass can cut through thick leather boots. The recovery process is not measured in days, but in decades. The stones must be moved by heavy machinery, but there is nowhere to put them. They have become the new surface of the Earth. The towns crushed by the rain are often abandoned, left as monuments to the day the sky turned into a mountain. In the grand narrative of a super-eruptive event, the rain of stone is the physical fist of the volcano. It is the most direct and visceral manifestation of the planet's power to displace and destroy. It humbles the works of man, turning skyscrapers and suburbs into dust and rubble with the simple, relentless application of gravity and mass. To witness a storm of volcanic hail is to see the raw materials of the planet being redistributed in real time, a violent, beautiful, and terrifying restructuring of the world that leaves no room for the fragile structures of human life. The memory of the hail from hell lingers long after the sky clears. It changes the way survivors look at the clouds, a lingering fear that the air above might one day again grow heavy with the weight of the earth. It's a profound lesson in humility, delivered in a hail of fire and stone, proving that when the mountains speak, the sky itself carries their message with lethal precision.